Ode to a Debtor.
There you go. That was Teddy's motto.
Ode to a Debtor. Yeah, we've got another one in there. Conceived in shroud, not voiced out loud, in softly silvered strokes, disheveled and disconsolate, disobedient jokes. We diss ourselves, and that can't help, self-image shorn in tatters. We hold these truths here in our heart. Abjure your pain. Reboot. Feet. Start. Iambic journey, this thus anew, to search for furrows, burrows too, wherein there dwells a different set of fundamentals we can get to do our bidding. Right, wrong, tilt, this edifice we have not built. We owe it to ourselves to find empathetic peace of mind. Here's a haiku. In California, even pernicious weeds have beautiful flowers. And this is for cursive writer, for you, Richard, and for Bruce at the other poetry reading in Berkeley, and some other, I know. Listen to the veteran, swat away his ghosts. Grim Reaper is his intimate, privy to his jokes. His truth is raw and to the point, may strike you to the core. Ask him first before you judge if he's for peace or war.
Whoa.
American culture.
Culture.
Are you a chump, an idiot, a braggart, or a fool? Then buy this piece of property. It's sure to make you cool. Now watch this string of images, this endless slick parade. Drink alcohol, drive this car. It's guaranteed to get you laid. They single you out from the pack. This crisp new suit, fresh off the rack. Identify you as a dunce. Buy this product now, at once. In a few more days, it'll disappear. They've muddied needs and wants. Oh dear. Next, consume these opioids. Addiction sweet you can't avoid. This little pill will keep you stiff until you've had your fill of quiff. Consume, consume, consume some more. Mouth and arse up to the chore. Credit card maxed out, you schmo? Go directly to jail, do not pass go. Projection. The art of deception, actors lament, reversal of roles. Are those tears heaven sent? To sit on the knee of celebrity while ignoring the needs of your own firmament. And I got up this morning at 6 after, and Dreamscape with scratched eyeball. Actually, it was much earlier, it was like 5. I have a dream which I will call the Lost Shtetl. It is an endless variation on a theme of unfulfillment. I am constantly moving, wandering into new hallways, byways, usually indoors, but sometimes outdoors, in search of soul peace. For many years, it involved truck unfulfillment. I was a truck driver for 18 years. Not completing the job, disappearing vehicles, that is, returning to the site where I parked the truck and finding it gone, or more particularly knowing where I want to go on an internal roadmap and finding it impossible to get there. Sometimes bridges are involved, sometimes not. When they are involved, there is a vague sense of both familiarity and lack of same simultaneously. Often I am unable to complete a job of delivery or unable to please a boss I have never seen before but who resembles past employers. For the past year or so, no trucks. I've stopped dreaming about trucks, hooray. But walking through plenty of buildings, totally invented by my own imagination. Where am I going? Why can't I get there? Why don't I remain stationary? Thank you.
All right. All right. That brings us to me.
Oh no!
I know. I'm not even.
And I'm not even Mr. Bill. Am I framed okay in this?
Yes.
Am I? All right.
Yeah, Roger Rabbit.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna start with the political crap and then go to something much more pleasant.
Did you do the assignment?
No, I did not do the assignment. My dog ate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you remember not so long ago we had an election night, and Elizabeth Warren made a speech, and I liked the speech, but I liked my version of her speech better. So I took a lot of what she had and just changed other things around. So this is not her, But anyway. I'd like to tell the people still standing in line all across the country, marking ballots, casting votes, still waiting to have their voices heard, to know that no matter what happens, I want to thank you for how we worked together. It was a hard fight for the House, the Senate, state houses, and local offices, because we've been in and are in a fight together for democracy and a future where everyone has health care and human rights, while Wall Street and faceless corporations are held to account, taken to task, no longer legally lie, cheat, or steal, nor can they bend the justice, legislative, or regulatory systems to their wills. We fight for a democracy where people no longer die due to debt designed to disable, where children, teens, and adults, all people, are free of fear when walking down streets, going to malls, to a yoga studio, a church, or synagogue, because they're not being shot at, or hearing shots, because there are no shootings, because we are pulling together, building a future inclusive of science with moral obligations to protect both the truth and the earth. We have a justice system worthy of that name, which no longer grinds up the poor, needy, or people of color, those huddled masses yearning to be free, where government is held to the rule of law. We're in a fight for our country where seniors can retire with dignity. Social Security has been enhanced, enlarged, expanded. Women have equal pay for equal work and make decisions about their bodies. We are proud of this new American dream, proud of being immigrants or descendants of same, and know that diversity is what has always made America great, again and again and again. Tonight, we fight for this dream and the dreamers, to show ourselves as a nation which keeps mamas and babies together, with a government that is of, by, and for the people, where the Federal Reserve has been taken in hand, Citizens United has been dumped, and the troops are finally coming home from just about everywhere to help everyone here in the homeland. This is the fight, our fight, and we are in it all the way. Every donation, door knock, or phone call you made mattered. Every step you took brought us all closer to a better future that we are building together, and that is something to be proud of. So no matter what happens, I want you to know that serving the public is the greatest honor in anyone's life. Having democracy's back means that it will have ours. The election being over does not mean the struggle ends. It was only one day, an important day, but just another day all the same. Keep on keeping on. Get up, stand up, fight for what is right. And yes, let's truly remake America great again. So I took what she said and added other things. And now I'll see them put the political stuff aside.
Commie.
I know. You know, the root word of commie is common. Only kidding. The title of this poem is very short. It is Longing Spelled Out. In your eyes, I saw so much that one night. There was the moon in its crescent phase, with Jupiter off to the left, and there was Orion's belt glittering just below the slight galactic haze. It was all in there as we embraced and our hearts beat one with the others, and there were whispers, warm breath gracing our cheeks, and how lips touching barely at first slowly found the nape. Oh, the soft fingers twined. Silly, I know, but it was joyful. This then is when I forever fell in love with time. Thank you.
I practiced that. All right, and Richard Sandrell, and you're gonna have David there?
Always.
All right, here we go. And then we have our features coming up, and we'll organize everything there.
Just so you know, you still live in Indian country,
Baloney.
and this is Ohlone. territory. So just remember. Do Laughing Sally first. Laughing Sally pops up. There's a rash of sightings going around the city that knows how. City hijacked from its past, except for those who remember. Sightings of Laughing Sally's disembodied head laughs at us. What she sees. An editorial? She's been seen at City Hall laughing hysterically at the heavy amounts of doo-doo dripping from mouths of politicians, while at cathedrals, religious leaders ejaculate things told to them as truths, finding every kind of way to take, giving back little while pretending they give full measure with shipping and handling charges. Arts, yeah, to the right people. Laughing Sally knows there's more to art than just those who try to control what is seen, heard, read, played, danced. Thank you, money class, for all your support you pretend to give. Your halls are filled with whose culture? These sightings continue while Sally remains imprisoned. There are those who swath ghosts of William Sarian, Harry Bridges from the terrors of this age, forgotten, left as ghosts to roam the waterfront, where it becomes a shopping, eating mecca. People of the world ride ferries, never knowing what was here before, what it meant. Everybody's a tourist, sightseeing things they know nothing about. While at the Fillmore, Japantown, Sally laughs to keep from crying, seeing the destructions of her children's homes, culture, who once came to see her at the beach. Laughing Sally pops up, Laughing Sally pops up, reminding us of joy, absurdity of life. Laughing Sally pops up. I am your cur, your mongrel dog. I am Homo sapiens, I am state. That little bastard sitting on your shoulders so you don't forget. A shame given away, all others kept. This little bastard's here to remind you who's your little bastard. I'm that little bastard USA sent to war to kill men, women, and children in American wars. Get in line, can always use more for USA's needs. You know USA, the little bastard behaving badly. Can't get out of your head. Why? There are many scenarios, ways of manners, explanations, decisions made, actions taken. If in a new family it's a secret, someone talks, becomes the little bastard. In USA world, most are including USA itself. Little bastards gone bad. Unwanted throwaways in most cases. Streets filled with throwaways. Little bastards. Nation in ruins, laid waste through wars, neglect. Children, nations become curs, feral, your mongrel dogs, beasts. Beware, may tear into flesh of beasts like curs. Mongrel dogs are wont to do. This mongrel dog is here, and here. For real, crazy mongrel dogs rule here, rule beast. Some can be tamed, others not. Cur dances, romances, cur cajoles, bites. I am cur, your mongrel dog. I am Homo sapiens. I am state.
Thank you. Mr. Ernright. Mr. Ernright. I have to get organized in that part.
And I guess that duck goes all the way over the roof. Was that from the lawn?
I think somebody's doing
All right, if you can you check me there, please?
I know, I'm waiting for it.
All right. Okay, I am going to abridge my usual informal formalities because I'm noticing the crowd and I want to make sure everybody gets on who needs to get on because people are here and they're not here to hear this. They're here to hear the next poet, Gail Mitchell, who has featured here before, at least once, right? Once?
Many times.
Okay, because I remember there was at least somewhere back, I know. So
Bob Randolph.
Huh?
Bob Randolph and Jules Randolph.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was before me, though, maybe.
Okay.
That was before me. Okay. All right, so she is not a stranger here. And you're about to hear a poet's voice. And what I mean by that, I'm not just being silly, but I mean the kind of words that inveigle themselves into your soul. They get in there, they move around, they change you. You don't come here to hear poets. You don't come here to hear the poems. The poems get into you. There's no escaping this. That's why you do it. Anyway, she has the capacity to express what is needful and exact. And she's going to do that right before your very eyes. So give her a beautiful round of applause as she comes up here. Gail Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure this is exactly right for you. Okay. And you have to get very close to it. Is this good? Is that
Yeah.
okay, we want to make sure because, if it's not, then we don't want to have a problem. Now let me just put this. Oh, and maybe a little bit this way and pull the cords away from you.
Hi guys, how are you?
There we go.
Ashes to ashes. Memory is such a strange igniter. One abrupt recall, and you were suddenly in the living room of a house you thought would always be home. A place you thought you could always come back to. A place where the bones of old pets are buried in the backyard and where your mother started to die. In this other world, you run your hands along the shelves, you remember the archway around them and how the wood set perfectly in the grooves. How many times did you pick up that old food and feel the weight of that small, blackish, green dog statue brought back home from Korea in the 50s? You remember how it rested in the palm of your hand, small and heavy. There was the sake set, embellished with tiny beads of gold paint. It was brown, red, and white, with the tiniest flowers painted on it. Over and over again, those cups were lifted to your eyes and marveled at. For at the bottom of each cup, there held a photograph of a woman in traditional dress with her black hair up in a complicated bun. A child haunted by memories, where all was lost to fire and to death, and to the bluesy flame of strong spirits and even sharper regrets. This place was home to me for so many years. I used to perform with a bunch of poets called a Gang of Eight, and I think there's maybe 4 of us left. So when I'm here, it feels like I'm home. There have been sightings of angels. often glimpsed in the half-dark, rescuing some soul when he has cashed in all his chips and is just blowing that one note that threatens to break into something special. There are moments when Michael the Archangel has been seen, wings back, tapping his finger, lingering over Beale Street, lingering over someone with a clarinet who's playing dragon tunes. And he's there to urge him on, to encourage him to the edge and on into ecstasy, lost in the glory of just blowing because it feels so damn good. And every Christmas, and often in the fall when it would get cold and crisp outside, Mahalia Jackson could be heard closing up the stud down on Folsom, singing and shouting hallelujah, singing and shouting. And those boys, soon to be men, heard it and felt it as Last Call was heard one more time. Angels have been seen in midday in the Fillmore when it was all black. No, it hadn't stopped being colored yet. Men with their straw hats and fine tan leather shoes and suits so crisp, they almost shouted at you. The creases were that sharp. There was an angel down there, Jack. Sometimes she'd be coming out the beauty parlor, hair all done up in a press and curl, ready for Saturday night. Or maybe just going to the bowling alley where she'd meet the girls hanging out for the evening. And many is the night that some poor fool spent his rent money at the Club Long Island, down on 3rd Street. These angels have often been seen in broad daylight, wearing red lipstick, red nails, and dressed to the nines. Girl knew she was looking good. Billy used to sing right over there on Fillmore at the Plantation Club, and sometimes she could make you break down. There were clubs up and down the street, house parties with chili and crackers and home brew and dip and potato chips, and a little girl who would watch the grown-ups get silly. They'd throw a nickel, a dime, or a quarter her way, and a quarter in those days was some big money. It could buy you 5 candy bars or a Coke and a bag of chips. These angel sightings got less and less, but sometimes when the music was, well, you know, it could take you higher than weed, higher than booze, higher than, well, the music could take you there. There'd be Carlos Santana, head back, eyes closed, just playing the hell out of that guitar. Or you'd look up and there'd be tears. Or Janice would shout, baby, 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 welcome back home. Or Jimmy would play your spine as Voodoo Child cooked. Then there was the day Harvey Milk and Moscone got shot. So many of us took to the streets that night. We marched from Castro Street to City Hall. Joan Baez sang, and I could swear over my shoulder, away to the rear, a bit of wing. Just the other day I was listening to Minnie Riperton and I felt a tear escape down my cheek. And as I reached up to wipe it away, if not 6 feet, at the foot of the dining room table, an angel seemed to just blur on the edge of my vision. As my head hit the pillow, just before I said goodnight to my children, I heard a voice, as clear as day, reminding me to pray. Her heart is a radio.
Beautiful.
Her heart is a radio. The frequency is need. There are no radio-free Europe signs on the buses anymore. No late-night commercials. No blonde teenagers with wistful faces listening with heads inclined to hear the truth. Her body is a talk show. She's explored reason with the media, been interviewed, seen pop psychologists who taught her how to open up and release. Her eyes are antennae that cry Somalia tears. She's wrapped her long arms around herself and tried to hug away the pain. Her breath is the desert wind, dry leaves parched by the sun, small sand lizards flicked out, wish for her to continue. Her heart is a radio. Its frequency is need. She's tuned herself to pain. Moving past harmony, past joy, moving right on down to that last station, the one that comes in late at night. The one that caused her to explore new horizons. Her skin is newsprint, underlined sentences highlighting her blues and the good days. Her fingertips reach for books that will trace the beginning, explain this history she's making. Her heart is a radio. She's tuned herself to misery, feeding herself with slices of tragedy, spoonfuls of murder, and who died on Thursday. Her soul is a telegraph machine, and she's been up all night, waiting for a wire that will tell her who's making policy and how it will impact small foreign countries years from now. Her eyes are cameras and the lenses are open to let in the light. The shutter speed is on rapid fire. She's photographing the violence in South Central, the rapes in Bosnia, the sacking and looting of Arab villages, the racism of America. Her heart is a radio, tuned to an all-night talk show where acid is served up as the truth, and her fingertips are minefields. They're just gonna blow us all away.
Gail Mitchell, come on! Did you hear that? All right, can you check me one more time there?
So we had two features for this evening. Both are usually have a one feature kind of thing, but this evening we're having a double set here for you. Thomas Robert Simpson is right here. Now this man has a very long history of being involved with what matters. What matters more to an individual than where their heart is and what they do with it. Think about that. What do you do with your heart? Where do you have it focused? What is its purpose in your life? How does it feel? How do you change how it feels? What do you do to heal it in the face and the light of the things that are going on in the world today? So, my friend calls that self-defense. Okay? He is going to speak to you now. He is a beautiful and a wonderful writer. Passionate compassion, as I'd like to say. Thank you very much.
Give him a round, please. All right, so I'm gonna.
Thank you very much. This is my first time here, and it feels like home already. And what an introduction. I'd like to carry you with me wherever I go.
So would we all.
Fills the room. This first piece I would like to read is called Little Jimmy. Me and my mom and my daddy, we gonna be moving soon. We got to, so they can fix up our neighborhood. My mama says our block's gonna be the first one that urban renewal fixes up. They gonna sell us a new house real cheap. Mama says, we finally gonna get to the promised land. The man came by and told me and my mama all about the plans, how they gonna tear down our house. Then they gonna tear down Miss Dora's house and Miss Franklin's house, Mr. John's house, Miss Pelusie's house, and then they gonna tear down Miss Bear's house. And then they gonna tear down the store on the corner, and they gonna tear down the barber shop, and then they gonna tear down the dry cleaning place, and then they gonna tear down the barbecue shop. Then they gonna put in some new streets and new sidewalks. You know why they gonna put in those new sidewalks? So when it rains, we ain't got to walk in the mud no more. And then they gonna build these big new houses for us to live in, and they won't cost much. But we got to move out of the neighborhood till they get done. My mommy says, I'm gonna get my own room. We gonna get a new kitchen and a new bathroom, and everything is gonna work. And then they gonna make us a new school for me and my old friends to go to. And they gonna have new chairs and new desks. And none of the windows gonna be broke either. And they gonna make this brand new playground for us to play on. And then they gonna make this big street. This street gonna be so big that 3 cars can go this way and 3 cars can go that way, all at the same time. And you know why they gonna make that big street? So everybody's daddy can get home before their supper gets cold. Then they gonna make this big sidewalk up in the sky. This sidewalk gonna be so high that you can walk all over those little cars. You know why they gonna make that big sidewalk? So us children ain't got to run in front of all those cars. But we got to move out now for a little while. My daddy and my mama, they gave us a whole lot of money for this house. I think we rich. My daddy say we got to save some so we can have some to buy our new house. Now, there's a man down the street who don't want to go. He say they should give us so much more money for this house. He say they just trying to get rid of us colored folk and take our land. Everybody says that man's crazy. He been walking up and down the street with a sign telling folks not to sell and not to move. He says everybody should stick together and fight to keep their land. But since he's crazy, nobody listens to him. He say, if they build that big street, he's going to go up on top of that sidewalk and throw things down on those cars. He says, they ain't got no business making no big street like that in our neighborhood. The city condemned his house. I don't know what that means, but my mama say, he's going to be the first one they tear down. He say, they gonna have to tear it down round him because he gonna stay right in it. You know why they fixing up our neighborhood? Cause we got us a king. And our king, all he do is walk up and down the street with a whole lot of color folk. Like he walking Selma and Birmingham and Nashville and Detroit, and he walks all over the place. If he walks and he says something he don't like, he sees something he don't like, he tells the white folks to just fix it up. Like he told them we want to ride in the front of the bus and anywhere we want to. 'Cause he's the king, they had to do it. 'Cause everybody knows you gotta do what the king say do. When he came and walked in my neighborhood, he did not like what he saw. He tells them to fix up that neighborhood. And they say, yes, sir, Mr. King. Oh, that's my mama calling me. I got to go. But you come back in about 3 months and I'll show you our new place. Okay? Bye-bye. Okay, I've only got 3 minutes. I'm just going to be able to read a small excerpt of this piece right here.
That's from the anthology.
This is from the anthology Endangered Species, Enduring Values, an anthology of San Francisco area writers of color, edited by Sijue Singel. And this book I bought from her to read tonight, so it's for sale. I'm just going to take my glasses off. This is called San Francisco, Open Up, Live Up to Your Name.
Yeah.
It was a very nice day in San Francisco on August the 10th, 2013. That morning, my theater company, Afro Solo, hosted a community health fair to help underserved youth and families in the Western Addition prepare for the new school year. This San Francisco neighborhood has had a difficult past. Every year since 2006, MoMagic, a collaboration of neighborhood-based nonprofit organizations, holds a back-to-school celebration at the Ella Hill Hutch Community Center, an oasis for the youth in the neighborhood. To reward myself for weeks of hard work organizing the health fair, I plan to attend a concert that evening presented in conjunction with the America's Cup yacht race being held in San Francisco. At about 6 p.m., I began walking towards the Fisherman's Wharf to attend the concert. I was in a great mood. I'd had a great day, had gone home, taken a nap, shower. I was excited and ready to go. Knowing that San Francisco would be chilly that evening, I wore a fedora, turtleneck sweater, cashmere scarf, leather jacket, dress pants, and my Chelsea black boots. Everything all in black. I was looking forward to a real treat. The soulful rock group War was headlining the concert with the comedy team Cheech and Chong as special guest. Walking down Market, I began to hum War's big hits. The Cisco Kid, This World is a Ghetto, Slipping into Darkness. I could hardly wait. As I neared the foot of Market Street, I luxuriated at the sight of San Francisco's iconic ferry building, the historic Hyatt Hotel, and the impressive Embarcadero buildings. I turned left off Market onto Drum. Moving toward Washington Street, I saw or glimpsed the sign of a couple of two figures. As I got closer, I saw the two figures were a young white man and a young white woman. They looked to be in their late teens or early 20s. As it happened, it looked like they'd been traveling for a while. He had a couple of rolled up sleeping bags and a plastic bag stuffed with other things. Didn't see a cup asking for money though. Walking by them, I took my hat with a friendly hello. Is my time up?
No, yeah.
Okay, good. By then, Why Can't We Be Friends was playing in my head. I kept walking. About 100 steps past them, I thought I heard grrr. Focused on the music and excited about the concert, I thought I was hearing things. Then I heard nigger. Denial and hope can do strange things. I said to myself, no, you did not hear that. This is San Francisco. Get to the concert. A few seconds later, I heard, nigger, go back where you came from. Wow, there was no escaping it. I heard what I heard. I could not ignore or deny it. He was yelling at me. No one else was around. First comes fear. Is he going to attack me, shoot me, or what? Then I heard, you ought to kill yourself. If you don't, I will. I was about 1,000 paces beyond him. Then came anger. Who was he? Why was he shouting this to me? He didn't know me. I didn't know him. His verbal attack made me furious. All of a sudden, LL Cool J sung, Mama Said, Knock You Out, pounded in my head. I turned around and headed back to confront him. He was looking straight at me. He was about 100 yards. We were about 100 yards apart at the time. My steps picked up speed. My heart started beating faster. My eyes were glued on his. Knock you out, Mama said. Knock you out grew louder and louder in my head. All of a sudden, another voice invaded my mind. What are you doing? I responded, I'm going to knock that sucker out. What are you doing? Came again. I'm going to fight, I responded. No, you're not, the voice said. Look at him. Where will he be sleeping tonight? What will he be eating? You've got too much to lose. Get over it. Turn around, the voice ordered. I didn't. Turn around, came again. Reluctantly, I turned around and headed toward the concert.
There we go. So you're listening to the heart, you know?
Thank you very much.
Great. And that's what was for sale. Gail, did you bring anything? Okay.
Just
Okay, well, that's there, so talk to them about that, and Shizway over there will be glad to help you find out how to get a copy of the anthology. It's really well worth it. We're gonna take a short break, maybe 5 minutes, or 7 or 6, or something like that. Talk to yourselves, or talk to other people, and engage in life. Full goose bozo.
So do I just do half the 8? I don't want to know the surprise. I love surprises.
It's just that someone else is gonna be many, and there's other person. So it's like you're gonna go first.
I want to 125.
Well, we're supposed to have these, there's a big 6. Hello.
Got it.
Fine, how are you? Sparkles. So, he's the video lead, and you're going to go right after him. So then if you do like 6-ish plus or something, okay, perfect. All right. Thank you, Tommy.
Vincent. Nice to meet you as well.
Hello. He just didn't want to be actually filmed.
What's that?
That guy didn't want to have his.
Oh.
He wanted to be heard but not seen.
Hi. Nice to see you.
There we go.
Okay.
I just like that was amazing. I liked his story. That was so cool. Yeah, so we're gonna get everybody off. I'm telling people to go short. We got you on. How we put you on as soon as you came in the door.
Munich got me.
Oh, there you are. I hate that.
I ran into the switchback, where the car.
Oh, they pull it off and then they. Yeah, oh God.
Oh yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you.
Polish, yeah, I did that Polish map in Alamo Square.
See, I did that today too. I had like a kind of a layover. I was going from point A to point B, but I didn't want to go to point B so early. I went to a little park. I took a nap. I was like, and I had this with me, or one of these, else I wouldn't.
That's, well, you see why I'm late.
I said I snagged it.
Oh, good.
Listen, I had War's greatest hit on 8-track. 8-track.
8-track.
You would have loved 8-track.
I played around with it.
You were good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just want to say that really quickly while she's talking to me, because otherwise I'd forget and you're not going to be able to hear words.
Right now it's good. It's very stressful.
You're fine. No, you're going here. I didn't want to forget that I made this arrangement. That's why you're there. No, you're fine. You're good. You go first, and she goes second.
These people are going first.
Yeah, oh yeah, these went like this. She's not going to read because she's going to leave. So that's, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then she's 6, then we go on.
I'm 5.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
So I did something fun. Actually, something fun. Yeah. So when I say I received a story on something called Not the Overwhelming Free. So I moved it to Not the different name.
Party go? No.
Oh, okay. Because no, I got here like 7 whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She was on. That I was gonna be there. They've been starting.
You have a driver's start.
It starts at 7:30, right? It said on the website, it says sign up at 7, starts at 7:30. Yeah. It says on the thing, it says sign up at 7, show starts at 7:30. It does. Right, there you go.
This went down for a while? Oh, I see. That's what I see. Well, either that or the last one. What a day. I actually fell asleep outside and it was in the shade. I was going from point A to point B, but I was going to be really early, so I stopped at this park and just like.
Fall asleep in a park?
Well, I had this to wake me. I fell asleep like that. And I heard this going off, and I went like this because I knew. Under the tree was like, and then when this went off, I went like this because that's this hand goes to oh, what? Took me a minute to go, what? Who? Huh? So it was good. Oh, that's this is a special event that's happening. And if you wanted
That's Saturday. That is going to be amazing.
yeah, that's going to be great.
And you know, Tongo's at the Correct Center tomorrow night.
Yeah. So, and this is
That better already happened, or maybe it's the 27th coming up.
Thursday 25th. So it already happened.
Yeah.
Oh well. I didn't get these in time. Alright, I will fold these and they'll become paper.
The event on Sunday, Blood Flowers Casadon. Easter was amazing.
So that's still happening.
It happens every night. He's doing quarterly now.
Oh, really?
So he's gonna go again in August.
Oh, okay. So on my calendar, I think I had that. I'll have to change that. Oh, just as I put like, I'll have to say that it's a quarterly event, contact. KASSIDAT, right?
KASSIDAT. Yeah, so we did it on Sunday. It was me, Josiah Alderete, who's going to be Abyss, Tongo Ice and Martin, and Aeon Flo was there, and he accompanied Josiah and Tongo on that magic bass of his. It was unbelievable.
But you're saying it's quarterly?
It's quarterly.
Not monthly or anything?
No, I think the next one is August.
Okay. But I'm going to have to change the entry that I have so it can reflect that it's not a weekly thing.
I'm trying something new tonight.
So how do we look at our calendar?
Plenty of downer stores at my home.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I worked on that for 17,000 years. And it's supposed to have been in A, not E, so that's mine. We're going to start the second half. The second half, the kicker offer.
Who is the
Brit.
Oh, Britt Peters, come on up here. Britt Peter, rather. Give him a round, the mighty Britt Peter. For God's sakes, he's in the house. And my Scottish accent is wearing thin. How thin is it? Well, just listen.
Okay, theme rhymes with Dan Brady.
Oh my God.
I'm at a loss. Nothing in the well. Speak instead about the honesty and merit of his poetry. The short ones in particular, the 9-lined, 42-syllable haikus. Can't be beat.
Thank you.
Dan Brady's poetry offers up real heat. Drop the rhyme.
Why, thank you.
Hogwash. Gertrude Stein is wrong. William Barr is wrong. There is no there. There was no collusion. There is no obstruction of justice. Gertrude Stein never met Jack London, the boys studying at the Last Chance Saloon. William Barr gets paid well to bend the story and lie. They both harbor healthy, wealthy biases. 2. You'd think the bright girl would have had a wide perspective, living above Oakland and Piedmont. But no, not even William James could simplify her presentation. She headed to Paris to buy paintings, to tangle her vocabulary and befuddle us. Look what was stirring in her fair town as she grew up. Oh, lonely paths beneath her feet. Henry Durant starting a small school. George von Halteren running the bases. lumber schooners plowing up the estuary. The cowboy painter Ignacio Martinez, back from Paris, holding a lively salon, and hip Pullman porters playing the blues. On and on, action in the lowlands, discounted on the hill.
Oh.
And now for Barr. You'd think William Barr reading Blackstone would have given him some notion of common law and thoroughness. But no, his palm itched.
But no.
But no.
But no.
Ew.
The social compact. Coming away from a meeting, I climb over a fellow citizen to get to the BART entrance. Take a walk through the park. An entire family are sleeping behind a bush. An old lady freezes to death in a public park. What year was that? What year in the Dark Ages is this? Thank you, Master Scrooge. Thank you, St. Ronald. Thank the Donald. Thank all the other SOBs who turn their heads away, who wash their hands, who run ahead of the mess and lie to us and steal from us.
Britt Peter, thank you for your generosity. I really appreciate that. Gavin, give Gavin a round. He's not a new person now. He's an experienced person. Woohoo!
Give me a second here.
I can give you 5 seconds. 1.
The phone.
Sorry. It's all right. You're tuned and aware. Do you want me to tell a joke?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a 2nd grade joke. What's the difference between boogers and broccoli?
You eat boogers.
No, kindergartners don't like broccoli.
Oh.
That's the point. Just,
I liked his joke.
yeah, well, you know. Are you ready now?
I am
I'm
ready
sorry
now.
about that. I just had to do something because, you know, he was getting ready. He's ready now. He's going now.
If I should die gasping and alone, like my old man gasping and alone, surrounded by family and I still feel alone. Think of an amiable man mauled by a bear in front of modern little people, and really feel not the pain but the loneliness that amiable man must feel. Under those paws, if I should die gasping and alone, under the beast, I hope you are shopping for something you will never use with someone you say you love but would never call out for in desperation if you were gasping and alone. And I pray that you are never burdened by my loneliness, nor inconvenienced by reincarnation's good humor and indignation, because it could be you one day beneath a carefree and wild beast who was once in a past life an amiable man, whose change fell from his pockets and dozens of times in front of modern little people he did not know, and who cried out for help like an infant as we stood by and did not render aid. Perhaps this time we might remember what it felt like to die gasping and alone.
Yeah.
I just got one more quick one.
Yeah.
Fukushima fallout washes ashore in high technology fashion, dimming the flame of the young, making their once synesthesian anxiously in love intelligence, a gaudy gray trudging by day and creatures of reactionary cynicism by moonlight, and so made for a strange and obvious checkmate on the dew of our inevitable morning. Knowledge in our hand, yet the future slipping through our fingers, and this static ho-hum culture that may only be able to extract its identity and integrity from the Civil War whispers in the dawn, And we perished with no new lexicon, hungry at the banquet, for the rage was gone, the blessed and forsaken rage. Rage now refreshing as love once was, in a time and place where tolerance was worn as a coat, but was never to be given to the man in the cold. Rage, now the only single antidote for us, with eyes to see and ears to hear. All had been rendered hollow without it. That's it.
Thank you. This brings us to Mr. Alan Harris.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then Finn, if Finn is here, can you take the on-deck chair, Finn? Just go to the on. We're going to do the on-deck chair to facilitate the changes.
Yeah, I am.
What'd you say? Yeah, just sit right here, so that way when we transition, we're trying to save time.
Thank you for adjusting the microphone, David.
Yeah.
Because it was way up high where I couldn't reach it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, big boy.
Oh, good God. Yes. By all means. I'm so glad we're on the same page. I would rather die than not see eye to eye with you on this. Never in a million years would I have thought it was possible for someone to be so right about something. My whole life has been leading up to this one act of harmony. I can't remember what life was like before this concurrence. A whole new world of, oh yeah, has opened up before me. Agreeing with you is better than sex. I'm basking in the sweet, sweet glow of your accuracy. I weep for those who can't appreciate how perfectly formed are the ideas that you have used to support your position on this subject. Has there ever, in the history of the world, been someone who has been so spot on about something? Hey, stop being so correct. You're scaring me. I feel so inadequate next to your lack of error. I'm actually losing body mass being in such close proximity to your field of exactitude. I am mercilessly taunted by the vastness of the distance between you and anything that bears even the slightest resemblance to something that might be mistaken for a miscalculation. The success of your systematic voraciousness has led me to come to the inescapable conclusion that by comparison, my whole life is a large vat of nothingness and uselessness nestled along the bottom of a large steaming crater that now stands in place of what was once my existence. Who the hell do you think you are, arrogantly flaunting your faultless logic, your unimpeachable argumentation, your irreproachable dialectic? You can take your sound judgment and your unassailable train of thought and shove them right up the meticulousness of your precision-laden ass! Thank you. I lost my train of thought.
It's been derailed.
If anyone finds it, just bring it over to Teddy and he'll hold on to it until I come back. Here we are. Each day is like a machine in which sometimes, but not too often, the gears mesh smoothly, while most other times they grind and smoke and screech. And there's one part of me that just stands there, masochistically waiting as the pieces fly off in all directions, hurtling through time and space, on their way to taking out one of my eyes or splitting my nose in two, while another part of me fights back with casual aggression and formulaic edginess against the idea that I'm trapped in a mind fuck of my own making, in which patterns start forgetting things. The fine line between everything and nothing disappears completely, and I win a staring contest with a corpse. Luckily, technology saves my mind's ass, as my Mac, iPhone, and iPad all alert me to the fact that you're interested in going to an event near me tomorrow, in which birds and insects are going to try to teach people how to fly, but only after they've signed one hell of a waiver. And as I sit high up in imaginary bleachers, watching through binoculars as one idiotic sack of humanity after another hits the ground with a delightfully messy splat, it occurs to me that I'm not going to miss the annoyingly wholesome, or the notoriously mellow, or those who are sociopath adjacent, or people so boring that even schizophrenia wouldn't make them interesting. Something, by the way, I could never be accused of, because like me or loathe me, I'm fucking interesting. I'm a crosser of lines, a trafficker in petulance, a schadenfreude wholesaler, an accidental deconstructionist, a sometimes hater of love. I'm a vegetarian who won't eat his vegetables. I'm the wearer of a tuxedo on Casual Friday. I'm polarized and proud of it. I'm like the wind, only shorter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen Harris. All right. So now we have Finn. Come on up, Finn, and then Vince, you're next, and then we have our surprise guest there. Thank you. Surprise, surprise.
That mic.
Yeah,
Oh, you
adjusted a mic.
like that? Or?
Dan the man will take care of it.
Is that good?
Perfect.
All right, just be close to it because otherwise it doesn't carry. That's all.
I can feel the scars on my mind. I think they're starting to bulge with the feelings left behind. You know, I'd rather indulge in a little greed and a little lust. I'm a glutton for dust. My shell is starting to rust. Break me down, mess me up, pick me up and hurt me. Chain me to the wall and love me. Little voices tell me not to worry, honey. A day, a week, a month, a year, not enough tears. Needs more than just that spark of fear until you disintegrate, ingrate. Crushed up dreams mixed with booze, and now you lose her. She was that face in a million silhouettes, the one whose detail you could taste when she looked at you. Senses bleeding into one being of consciousness when you looked back at her, and released into the skies a sign of peace, then sucked into the motor of a passing plane. The feathers flutter to the ground, and you bend down to touch what once was. Fragments, dislocated bones, dissociative rooms of a language you do not know. So you tilt your head, and you tilt back in your recliner. God, you're such a good liar, says you. Stuck in the smoke of today's denial, baste yourself and do not reconcile, for forgiveness does not come so easy when you're getting very dizzy. Is it the cough, or the wristwatch, or the blood dripping down your thighs? Is it the momentary lack of high? Was it the prayer to moments lost, scrawled in crayons on yellowed canvas sheets? Dreams cannot compare to the emotions bundled in your heart. Not fair, not fair, not fair. Deep breathing, slow blinking until the ticking starts to cease, and these tin man hearts deny humanity. And I feel the scars in my mind. I think they're starting to bulge with the feelings left behind. You know, I'd rather indulge in a little darkness, wash away the empty, white, listless life. And, honey, oh, this 3/4 view of your vanilla-scented neckline and banana powder finish, this Cadbury A cracked over your spread legs, gleaming phosphorescent sugar-frosted highlight dribbling down your temple from canned peaches and thick syrup stacked upon your back. Early morning sunrise casts exhaustion betwixt your hearty sighs, and you wipe your eyes. Wild berry pies fresh out the oven with their graham cracker crusts, and your sockets stuffed with sweet black licorice, and you arch your lips hearted drool, heavy cream upon your back, stacked with past due canned peaches and thick syrup, and beginning to collapse. Your spine bends and sickly sweet cinnamon roll twists your thighs, unceremoniously split, leading over ripe berry pie, eyes opening wide, bleak, hardly frosted cries. Despite the richness of half-melted chocolates between your sighs and baby sweet candy, the licorice whips that lock your limbs will burst to free. That's it.
Thank you so much. That's Ben, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Ben.
All right, and now, one of our two mini features of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Give Vincent a nice round of hand, and will Melissa Mella kindly come forward, please? She will be our second mini of the evening. A good, wonderful surprise for us. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. We are kicking it, as they say.
Thank you. He's
You're
such
welcome.
a good mic person.
Oh.
So this is supposed to be 6 minutes, so we'll make it work.
All right.
So a couple of these are rinse and repeat, but we'll start. This is called Mentors and Laureates, and they're done in prayers. This is prayer 1. My day was like no other, unique in its proportions. I left expectations and assumptions out of every new moment. I asked cynicism to leave by the back door and greeted hope in the foyer. The soldiers of doom marched in a foreign land nearest to willingness, and I walked the path of glory.
Nice.
Okay. I always get accused of not writing happy things.
Happy?
This is called Sounds of the Kiss. McLean's melody of American Pie invited me into the dimly lit cafe. The tempered feelings of loss clutched the notes. They hugged me at my sides, pulling me forward as the music escaped me into its stanzas, as the barista hummed and swayed, the gurgling sounds of steaming milk, the wand touching the sides with an occasional metal squeal. I let go of a held breath, releasing a moment in time. I flipped open a group of February poems and was soon traveling in crimson, chocolate heart shapes and beating love triangles. Before long, I stood near an open well. An echo requested my pen, demanded some paper, and asked for my words. Hearing the minute scraping of the ballpoint, I remembered the green and amber pasture near my childhood home, aside the path leading to our forbidden fortress of laughter and innocence. We stood close, afraid but unashamed. I reached out and touched your first 2 fingers in my warming hand. They coiled in excitement. You half-stepped into my mirror of desire. You reached for my other hand, and I could smell the light scent of tuberoses, our favorite. I welcomed your crescent-shaped lips against mine. My mouth opened and my tongue ventured towards yours. You hesitated for a second or two, and then relented. It was there my heart began a rhythmic beat. It began to skip a melody, forever entranced in my soul. That kiss, our first, has forever stopped time. This is called Prayer 2, Straits and Channels. Many times, no matter what the stark waves of my disease chatters, the serene blue well of hope, faith, and willingness echo claps safe passage, and the mermaid swims through and accompanies me to thousands of fathoms deep near Neptune's utopia. This goes with the theme, which I thought was totally lame. This is called The Smell of Childhood, a.k.a. not the Jan Brady. You were dressed in a sheen baby blue, tightly pleated spring dress with a lacy white apron front, a double-tied bow in the back, accented with the morning's regular cocktail of Smirnoff, melting ice, numbed with a chaser of a few milligrams of the benzo shuffle. Upon opening the front door, the smell of newly deep-fried chicken, collard greens, and ham hocks and black-eyed peas wafted down the Peyton Place black and white tiled hallway with French provincial and modern Chinese decor, with the light scent of bleach, haphazardly booby-trapped with a simple hello or asking, how was your day? The rinse and repeat topics like aging dishwater soap were what about those nosy neighbors and don't tell them our business, or your lousy good-for-nothing chippy son of a bitch father still hadn't come home, but who could blame him? Arranging the faux fiestaware dollar store silverware and colorful plastic insulated tumblers placed geometrically in the OCD triangle, perfectly patterned until menaced with rage, anger, and shame, usually served up by 6, all lines shattered and crossed, and all would be heaved to the farallons below the kitchen island where fear, guilt, and remorse and white waterfalls of spilt milk camouflaged themselves onto the faces of tear-stained adolescents. Always dizzy from being left in the dark as the watermark of good and bad would rise and fall with your lack of self-worth. Confused, we all tried to write a path, but always caught in quicksand, and your cavalcade of funhouse mirrors never truly focused on an honest image of reality, and all the air sucked out of every room and any moment. But with the tides of change, growth acquired upward in age and height and out into the world on our own, festooned with renewal and hope, there is always a pause, a moment taken, sometimes even a silence, when someone innocently asks at dinner, do you like Southern food? I wrote that on Easter. My sister and I were eating, never mind, it's a long story. This is prayer 3. This is called Stars and Shadows. They say the larger the star, the larger the shadow. Prayer 3, Stars and Shadows. Digging down into the depths of yesterday, who's not a man, a boy, a child, an infant, the newborn? I can begin to touch the light, just to open my eyes and grab a hold of it, and away I go. It slowly wanes over the mountaintop and through and down the gully to the stream over the rocks, laying peacefully on the green valley floor. Quiet, yet the bluebird sings and the crow flies near. Dun, dun, dun. Through the minuscule droplets that sunshine forgot, a small feather touches my heart, and calmness directs towards a day that awakens with light and soft breathing. Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. Hands on my face, my fingers touching the seething temples where temper contemplates the movement of my soul. There's only room for warmth, it says. A deep breath answers. Anger concedes. Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. Upward and out, inside scream, and the screw tightens left. My heart admits the metal bolt wrenches right. My eye on the page, just for today. Dun dun, dun dun. With courage at my side, I show up. There are smiles and hellos. Turning back, I feel emptiness. Whirl around, no eyes on me. My insides to everyone's outsides. Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. Capturing a feeling, holding some light. Thought leaves grooves upon my heart where the universe's love will smooth. Belief comes, my head is up, creases again on my face.
There we go. Thank you, Vincent. And now, as promised, a person who has returned to us from a long distance and a long time. Melissa Mella has not been here in a while. She's a little special mini for us tonight. And then Soul Brother here still. Okay, so you're going to be the next one up. You want to go to that chair? That'll speed things up, but that's all right. Hello! Long time no see.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo!
Happy to be here. I'll do a couple of old ones and some new ones.
All right, let me get that. There you go. Sorry about all that.
Side of hand slides across page, smudges wet ink, gives illusion that words continue after stopping. How can such delicate abstractions like lines on page or breath on ear hold weight after release? Across the room, a light fixture hangs suspended from chain in a bird cage. Everyone is looking at a computer screen. Why do we feel compelled to capture that which cannot be contained? No, our bodies are not our design. Perhaps that explains why sitting with stillness can be hard for you, for anyone. Outside, the sky is falling monotonously. Until now, I never noticed how water droplets collected on windows reflect tiny upside-down likenesses of the world. Until now, I never noticed how love is a perpetual mix-up between a bridge and drowning, floating away in every direction. Thank you. There's something about the vastness of the desert, you said. The way the sky opens up. Stars poised like so many dust particles in a beam of light at dawn or dusk. And it is more aromatic than desolate. A sharp, sweet shrapnel smell when the rain comes. Oily like leather, like tobacco bitter pungencies. I pick up earth, bones and bullets, a mother bunch for the sensing. To render barrenness is to deny a cusp, a wing, and a sadness deep as canyons run is no excuse for death. A quick plasma pop sends embers shooting into ash, where fire once flickered as necessity. Entranced onlookers heartily asked respect. There are now greedy screens, irreverently beaming thieves. Rusted hatchet blade on splintered wooden handle rests among boxes of kindling. We are not built solely for city living. Safety is the riptide breath of a slumbering dog, the tinny whistle of a hummingbird. Every corpse pose and inevitable ending, a part of a gun. Fragility falls off like a band-aid on wet skin if you let it. You hold on to your saguaro boot canteen by its dead, woody ribs and drink. Thank you. One, a treasured collection of books. My first drum kit bought from a guy on Craigslist. Dozens of lively houseplants I propagated myself. An antique chair that once belonged to my beloved dead grandmother. A countless number of cards marking every occasion saved and given to me by my mother. A torn love note scattered on the stained carpet. On and on. Life is all just one long series of letting goes, and the shedding of things somehow makes more soul space, feels less suffocating, less like the things I own me. 2. Heartbreak will drive you right into the wilderness at dawn, down a Forest Service road, or along a shiny asphalted freeway whose only exit dumps into the city during rush hour downtown, or both. I jumped in, headed west, was finally committed to something that was ready to receive. 3. I sit, legs splayed open, soles of socked feet hugging a mason jar filled with boiled water inside a sleeping bag underneath 3 thick blankets atop this twin-sized bed, and I see my breath in the air on the exhale while my dog sits whining by the door of the van, eyes wet in desperation big, begging, "Aren't you going to let me up?" And I do. I always do. Eyes locked for seconds across a crowded room of strangers. Felt a flash fast, cricket leap, flutter in the chamber walls. You startled, and I gifted you a crooked grin. No closed doors here. You were already in me anyway. We, recycled atoms, our bodies merely experience activity of an entire universe. Confessed my fondness via voice text, waited pacing a pool, small waterfall trickle, ripples swelling to the edges, building tension in my eardrums. Tick-tock of my timepiece heart. Reciprocation danced off your tongue. Nothing opens the lungs quite like longing. I want to watch you eat a peach, want to suck the sweet from your lips, juicy and glistening. I want to take you to the wilderness, revive your nuclear animal, guttural and ripe. I'll meet your sweeping gaze in uproarious silence, fervent cricket flow through bloodstream. What's the difference between love and arriving home? Thank you.
Alyssa Miller, welcome back. And now Soul Brother number 9 is coming up. And we got Rob, Garrett, Ants, Sharon, Greg, Hal, and more. So, and I appreciate the people who have been generous with their time. So continue to do that so we can have everybody on. So you're on.
Thank you.
All right.
I dedicate this to Darlene and West Side, who saw me undiluted. How can I explain the pain of broken wings when it would only be in vain? An undiluted motif of my teen experience, celebrated as a prime time novice. Like when I heard the strange word no, I said yes, 'cause I'm blessed with 3 amazing vices, and the best is in my chest. I write my own motet and play the starting role. I know I'm worth my weight in virgin black gold. So I performed this poem to create a sculpture of my soul. As a boy, I was bolder than those that were older. I decided at 9 to chisel my own mind, wanting to live life to the fullest. A binary star, romantic and foolish. When I was 13, I rejected Christ as my Savior. At 14, I was punished by the powers to be for falsely accused behavior. At 16, I had parties of pilgrims at my place, living my life at my pace. Declared an adult at 17, my transformation was delayed. I was told I was too old to be saved. Born, loved, and anointed to explore the world with my mother's permission. Do I blame her? Never. But I could have used my father's direction, skipping stones over troubled waters while jumping tracks to get at this and that. crossing roads trying to find what I was missing from all the hype I was being told while my ego was listening. Born in the Negro League all my own, but traded it away and sold out just to be owned. No matter how gifted or artistic I expressed myself, I felt like a forgery. 'Cause no matter what I achieve, I never believe I was ever worthy. So I painted my brown eyes blue so the whole damn world can see me like they see you. I was abstinent until I found my kind of love. Erotic females grown as exotic bud, with passionate drinks and snorting instant happiness. I became delinquent in my discipline. Walked through war zones for the American dream because I wanted to be where it was happening. Committed war crimes while beautifully sinning. Offering my collection of victims in the pantheon of villains. I was told I was a teenage sage, too old for my age. It took being cast down and alone, healing and using my wings to find my way home. Happy to be nappy and living my authentic self now that I'm grown. Victory depends on your friendships. Lifelong, the good, the wrong, thick and thin. True friendship is divine and it never, ever ends. As a nocturnal animal, I'm familiar with dark places. So I'm not surprised to find safe self-hatred that's re-gifted from those convicting me not to make it. We throw away things, not people, right? What do I have to do to prove I'm amendable? With integrity, I live my life to the fullest, 'cause there's more to life than, or when you don't live it foolish. Still blacklisted as I defy your goddess behavior. I'm not your disciple or sinner, but a mentor and savior. In the age of fake leaders, poets are makers and movers. My legacy makes me a soldier, and I shall go marching on up and over with the rage to save my young heart and undiluted mind, discovering love and life.
Thank you. Beautiful. Wow. And then Garrett wants to come forward, let me help out. And then Ant. Rob, Garrett, Ant.
Plural, ants.
No, well, did she? I thought she said just ant. It's ants? Oh, sorry about that. Thank you for that informative piece of information. Folks, try to keep it under 4 if you can, because that'll be helpful to us and everything like that. Just letting people, darn it, this thing stops. I'm getting up.
I forgot my my music stand, so here are 2 brand new poems.
2 brand new poems?
This is called Unentitled.
Unentitled?
When I see kind eyes of womanly seeking, I want to pounce like a pup. When a female form finds my medium mangled buttons, I long to leap right up. Or really any woman not wearing a bra. My mouth dries, my heart beats raw. But then comes the guilt of every closed fist, resurrections of each rapist recidivist. I burn and hang my head, I choke and wish I were dead. All I can do is avert my eyes. Don't look at her like she's some prize. Subsume your male gaze, we're not entitled. The totality of truth is truly suicidal. Harassed, hunted, abandoned, unwanted, denigrated, depilated, overweighted, underweighted, painted, objectified, patronized, unsatisfied, silenced, violated, murdered, mutilated. How does any woman allow any man near? Why do they not run away in fear? How do they keep letting us in? Just Disney and Cosmo and clucking hens. History's greatest Stockholm syndrome, abetted by hormonal maelstrom, pounding in their heads like some kettle drum, want cock, want cock, want cock. Is that what it's like to be woman? It would be so easier if they said they were done. The game's past, nobody won. Unfurl the flag, forever lesbian. We'd stop all this grieving and obsessing. I'd breathe once more. Grant me that blessing. My bloodied brain weeps in pain, yet only she can make me whole again. Dan?
Yes?
What was the theme tonight?
I think rhymes with Dan Brady.
Yeah.
That sounds like a title. I've penned tomes wild and weighty. I ghost wrote for Salinger, JD. But the most fun I ever had was making rhymes with Dan Brady. I've made climbs up Mount Haribara's 80. I've made starlets with Warren Beatty. But the most fun I ever had was making rhymes with Dan Brady. I've gambled in gaiety, I've shouted "Arr" and "Ahoy matey." I've made movies with Jerry Lewis, lady. I called Hepburn Katie. I was the body double for Greg Brady. I partied with Ron Jr. in 1980. I liberated a Kuwaiti, I defeated Napoleon in Haiti. Tonight I will shtup your landlady. Charlie Sheen calls me shady. But the most fun I ever had, yes, the most fun I ever had, you bet your ass, hep daddy, oh kitty, oh lassie, oh lad, was making rhymes, parsley, sage, so many, many times, making rhymes with Dan Brady.
Thank you! I feel so honored.
I still think it's
Garrett.
Garrett.
Garrett, and then Ants. Ants is over there, right? Still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And she is actually new, so we'll have to make sure we honor her in the appropriate fashion of newness. Give a man a round of applause, please. There we go. You're on.
Going along. Anywhere and everywhere you see them around. Some are erect, many on their sides. Some appear to be all cold, others look live as hot coals. You see them on the streets, mounted or not, and they ask for only $1 to start. $1 to boot, or is it a buckaroo? If you don't watch out, you could follow one. If they don't watch out, they may find some in the lake. Their abundance is not unlike that of the homeless, but the homeless presence is understandable due to policies that lead to such. But the policies regarding the scooters seem much more tolerant. Though frankly, those scooters, along with their makers, their riders, and their so-called regulators, one might wish they'd just plain scoot. Not exactly about the Transbay terminal, but some things just keep on giving and giving. The sinking tower of rhymes with Crisco. Like present-day imitators of Yoda the Turtle, the city parents and developers did it this time. All they really had to do was to simply build a new transit center. But of course, who do we think we are? Anyone can build a simple transit center, but we're Edson at the city that really knows how. There's nothing going higher than we. We'll build us a transit center capped by a building that will really help to build us up to the stars. So they build up and build up and build up some more, and behold, that tower was built, a marvel of the ages. But what's that odd sound, that sinking sound, not quite the burping sound of a mech, but equally ominous? A gasp roars out, and it's plainly clear that that tower had begun to sink like poor Alice into the earth. Those developers might have dared to rise to the stars, but it appeared they may really sink into the fallen stars. They really should have known that the build of on sand, salting up the gold through hourglasses. So source of hubris of city leaders and builders. But you can never keep a big eagle down for long. Hey, look on the bright side. At least we done Italy a few better. They just have a leaning tower of Pisa. But we have, ladies and gentlemen, ever cracking, coming apart transit center, but the sinking tower of, well, you know. Having come in and just finding out about the theme for tonight on with say Dan Brady is hardly lazy.
Hardly. Thank you. Ants. And we have to recognize the individual as being a new person to the scene. So give her the appropriate welcoming as she comes up here, please. Come on, I don't hear it out there yet, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. Is that an ant? Oh,
If I sit down, totally sorry, thank you. Thank you.
Make sure this is. Or you want to sit?
I can, yeah, if it's all right.
No,
Thank
no,
you
it's
very
fine.
much.
Just wanna, how do you want the
Thank you very
microphone?
much.
Okay, and then we can.
How does it work? Yes.
Oh yeah. So this is this the height?
Probably. No expert.
Let me just focus in on you here.
Yeah,
All right.
So, hi.
Hello.
People were nasty to me on the internet, so I got upset and I made a deeply offensive song about it, for which I apologize in advance. It's truly silly and inappropriate. Woo! Yeah! Yes! Also, I'm not a musician. So, fun games.
That's okay. We're not an audience.
Right, okay, thank you. Right. But I'm an optimist. hurt and felt to be insane. I can forgive the incomprehension and the strangely incoherent way you write. They say intelligence to some extent is heritable, but I blame you for the cowardice and spite. Why does it hurt me so? No, I shouldn't get upset when I find rude cretins on the internet. I should just let it go, and I shouldn't be upset when I find rude cretins on the Hello, acquaintance that I considered friendly. You take exception to my harmless Facebook post. You spew some vitriol, and it makes no sense at all. But it's your cowardly retreat that jars the most. Your indecipherable drivel shouldn't hurt me. You're not responding to a single word I've said. Clearly the rich substrate for the lies you perpetrate is the roiling pit of madness in your head. I can forgive the lowering incomprehension and the strangely incoherent way you write. They say intelligence to some extent is heritable, but I blame you for the cowardice and spite. I did my level best, so I shouldn't be upset when I find rude cretins on the internet. Some folk are very dim, so I shouldn't be upset when I find rude cretins on the Sensitive souls in search of inspiration. Such misadventures may provide the wherewithal. Although they done me wrong, in the end I gained a song, and so the cretins had their uses after all. For every hideous indignity we suffer, there is a gruesome story waiting to be told. I lost a shallow friend, but I won out in the end, for the crock of turds concealed a pot of gold, or strontium, another metal which sounds like poo in Italian. I'm Italian. I can forgive the lowering incomprehension and the strangely incoherent way you write. They say intelligence to some extent is heritable, but I blame you for the cowardice and spite. Then I remind myself that I shouldn't be upset when I find rude cretins on the internet. Yes, it makes perfect sense that I shouldn't be upset when I find rude cretins on the internet.
There we go. Woo! Dance, ladies and gentlemen. I tell ya.
Still have some.
Sharon Kish in my own bad Scottish accent. Yeah, already. And then Greg Kahn is still here. Greg is next after that. And Hal, then Lydia?
The tattooed lady.
Oh, Lydia, okay. This is your first time here, correct? Huh? No. Okay, just want to make sure because I can't remember everything.
What's my name? I can't
What do you
remember.
rhyme with?
Shady, actually.
Okay, this is called On the Good Foot. And we're back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Neighbors all try to help each other. One has food, all have food. Car needs repair, no problem. Fred will chip in and his buddies will get that hole fixed. No one had a problem too big or too small. Now there were some people whose skills were not so sharp. In fact, they chipped in to help, and the other expense was so much more than the original job. Mr. Barnett could mess up a paint job so bad that the repair was always twice as much. My grandmother wouldn't even open the door for him. Finally, the men would have him paint small jobs like garage doors, basement walls, basement doors. He was so bad, in fact, the little girls wouldn't even let them paint their dollhouses. Part of the problem was that he was cross-eyed. His wife, Bernice, was a lovely woman, kind. She was always the go-to woman for women after giving birth. In the house she comes, apron on, cleaning, preparing meals, seeing the children in the household, laundry, no problem. Walking the kids to school, which was difficult since she had a built-up shoe. Many days she left the house worn to the bone, only to go to the next house to start all over again. If a house had several children, she was the go-to job. She usually had the case in hand. Took the kids to school, but in fall, all children were sick. Colds ran like wildfires. Late winter, some things only got worse. It was tonsillitis. Usually the doctors would put all of the children in a family in the hospital and yank tonsils. Pretty good paycheck. My mother always said, wife must have needed a new fur coat. Last time you heard of an entire family of children being put in and having their tonsils out? Not lately. Because her foot and leg, Vernice had always done light domestic work. Outside the home, babysitting, elevator operator with a seat, matron in women's lounges. But the most rewarding was helping women in the neighborhood. Kids that could not live in the neighborhood were puzzled by her. What about her shoe? It was no problem to us. We loved her. We loved her. We loved her big black shoe. But it was just a test. She was always very tired. Never mind the fact we loved her because she made the best fudge in the world. Her taffy wasn't bad either, but not as good as Aunt Marjorie's. But she was such a bitch if you spilled sugar on the floor. You spent the rest of the day cleaning it up. So Vernice was where we went to make fudge. Anyway, the women loved it when she would have them over for card parties. The food was always delicious and a great time to catch up on the neighborhood news. Because by being in the houses, Vernice knew everything. And what the people didn't tell her, the children told her. So she was the go-to person. Well, here comes winter, and Vernice doesn't have any money for medical appliances. No one does. So you always made do. In fact, some appliances were so full of electrical tape, you couldn't tell what they originally started out to be and how they were supposed to help the person. So Vernice was constantly picking up odd jobs and end jobs. She never had time or money for herself. New shoe? No. Lyle's eye fixed? No. Out of the question. Insurance? What's that? No such thing. Winter's coming. Slick streets, slick stairs, salt stains, sidewalks, everything. Be careful, it's cold outside. Deep snow. Salt on the streets, salt on your carpet, salt rusting out the bottoms of cars, grinding in chains. Lots of noise, lots of salt. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Dreary month, February. Lots of children home with colds. Mothers on overload, coughing, sneezing, earaches. Where is Vernice? She is all over, wiping noses, changing diapers, cleaning up after the upset tummies. Nodding as husbands complain about having meatloaf 2 days in a row. What babies, she calls them. Mrs. Turnbull is about to deliver, and it is not going to be an easy task. She already has 4, and they've all been by breach. Call Vernice, quick. Coat, hat, gloves, overnight bag, she's rushing. This one's coming fast. Got to get over there. It's only 3 blocks away. Better go. It's faster than Lyle backing out the car. Bumping the car into the garage, Banging the fenders, Bernice is on her way out the door. Hurry, Bernice, the baby's coming. Okay, I'm walking as fast as I can. Uh-oh. There she goes down the stairs. As they say, ass over tea kettle. Are you all right? Mrs. Burton sees everything. Mrs. Burton sees everything. She's always at the window. She flies down the stairs to help. All the neighbors come out, and it is one big melee. Quick, quick, go get someone. Go get Larry down at the drugstore. Better yet, go get Percy. He drives the ambulance for General Number 2. If she's hurt, that's where they're going to take her, to the Negro Hospital or over to Phyllis Wheatley. Off they go. What are we to do? What are we going to do? Everyone is really upset. They get her up, steady. Uh-oh, her shoe is split. They call her pediatric shoe a mess. Are you okay? Oh, I'm fine. If there's a baby coming, now, Eva will go over and settle everything. You just sit down. My shoe, don't worry. We're going to go get Mr. Brown. So they go get my Uncle Buster, who's a shoe repairman. He comes over and looks at it, shakes his head, and he says, I can fix this. What he does, the men go, they all chip in, and he makes her a new shoe. It's Valentine's Day, and Bernice shows up in a new red dress made for her and a new black shoe.
Mr. Pond? Mr. Pond, Greg Pond.
Greg Pond to the
Greg
microphone.
Pond, then Hal, then Lydia, then Miguel. We got
G Pond.
Yeah, it looks like Gab, G-A-B? Okay, all right. I wanted to make sure I had it right. Okay.
On an old April evening, 4/4/1968. On an old April evening, homework bound and textbook thick, all alone, parents, brothers gone, up to my ears in the high school mix of history, Spanish, English lit, chemistry, social studies, and advanced mathematics, until I was barely hanging by my fingertips, because no matter how hard I tried, I could hardly make any sense of it. Thinking how much more I'd rather be hanging with my friends or watching TV, instead of wondering who won what war or struggling with theorems of geometry. But there I was, all alone, on the evening of April 4th, at my desk in my room with the rest of the family gone, and only a snack, a soda, and the transistor radio to keep me company. When all at once the music stopped, there was a long pause, then a special news bulletin dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you Martin Luther King Jr. has just been shot on a Memphis hotel balcony. The words struck like a punch in the gut. A vacuum sucked the air from me, leaving a vacancy within and a feeling like I just heard the most frightening words about one of my closest kin. As the sentence dangled before me in disbelief, doubt, and denial, I wondered would the news be any different if I changed the tuner dial. But my brain would not command my hand to go. Time stood still, all motion slowed, while a chill blew over my radio. How long did I sit frozen? Well, only God knows. Forever or more it seemed, I sat thinking, I can't believe the words I thought I just heard. This has to be a twisted dream. The announcer must have made some fatal mistake, and I know this nightmare will go away as soon as I wake. But as I sat in refutation, my hands began to shake, and I began to fear the next thing I'd hear when they returned from the station break on that ominous evening, the 4th of April, 1968. The very next words I remember being said, ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you, Martin Luther King Jr. has just been pronounced dead. like a knife in the night that sliced away my breath. It seemed I could no longer feel my heart beating in my chest. The stunned DJ, not knowing what to say or what to do, selected number 6 on the top 10 playlist, the instrumental, Love is Blue. So I sat in shock while the ghosts of Medgar and Malcolm guided Martin through Heaven's Gate, accompanied by a song from Paul Moriarty, played on AM radio waves. Tears started, turned to tears nonstop, fueled by an ire towards the orchestrator of that hateful plot, wishing I could revisit the moment of teen innocence before a few fateful words sent the whole world into shock. Our great orator now forever resides on the other side of the proverbial mountaintop. And if he was still alive, I believe he'd be impressed by things we've achieved, but also distressed by all that we have not. And for those of you who are old enough, do you remember where you were when you heard Martin Luther King Jr. got shot?
Great fun. And Hal Robbins now. And then Lydia, if Lydia will kindly come forward, maybe come up here. Then Miguel and Gab and Julian before Britt closes us out. Try to keep your time,
Well, as far as the assignment is concerned, the assignment was not to write poems about Dan Brady. The assignment was to rhyme with Dan Brady. Not to rhyme with Brady, but to rhyme with Dan Brady. A difficult assignment,
Distinction,
I simply wanted to say. And so let me get this over with quickly. Sacred Rhodomantady. The need for rhyming with Dan Brady, a rhymester found harder than made he other lines with fewer strictures to compose attractive pictures. So that challenge that man paid. He found his muse, transhuman lady, helped him put a feeble show on, gave him just enough to go on.
And that was written by you.
Yes, it was written by me. Is there time for me to do a short one? Or
Yes,
should we-
if you can do a short one, that would be wonderful.
I'll do it by Tennyson, called Tears, Idle Tears. Tears, idle tears, I know not what they mean. Tears from the depths of some divine despair rise from the heart and gather in the eyes when looking on the happy autumn fields and thinking of the days that are no more. Fresh as the first beam glittering on a sail that brings our friends up from the underworld, sad as the last which reddens over one which sinks with all we love below the verge. So sad, so fresh, the days that are no more. Ah, sad and strange as in dark summer dawns the earliest pipe of half-awakened birds to dying ears, when unto dying eyes the casement slowly grows a glimmering square. So sad, so strange, the days that are no more. Dear as remembered kisses after death, and sweet as those by hopeless fancy feigned on lips that are for others. Deep as love, deep as first love, and wild with all regret. Oh, death in life, the days that are no more. Thank you.
You have. Oh yeah, take the whole thing there. And now Lydia is coming up. Give her a nice round of applause. This is not her first time, but she has come back for more. God save the Queen. And then Miguel is after, and then Gab,
And
Hi,
then Julian.
I'm Lydia.
and then Julian.
And this poem is called Before Midnight. Math rock has nothing to do with mathematics. All I really know about it is that it involves a lot of changes in time signature. I heard it for the first time at a show on Friday in San Francisco. I was half in this world, half in another, or maybe all the same world, but half dream, half real and half dream, half on land and half underwater. The notes half music and half drops of water. Halfway through a song, I woke up and realized I had an assignment due at midnight, a reflection on Monday's lecture. It was only 11. I let myself forget again. It wasn't serious, a weekly assignment worth only a few points. But I'd missed it before, and every week, every day, I tell myself I won't make my usual mistakes, and always do. The concert ended at 11:53. I thought I might still have time and rushed outside to open my teacher's website, but the page wouldn't even load before midnight. Before midnight, time no longer corresponds exactly to places. Objects have no more reality than ideas. A mind should confirm, yes. I'm really sitting here on this high-legged wooden chair, watching the rain fall outside my window. My mind denies as much as it confirms. And as night proceeds, the two worlds threaten to merge completely, irreversibly. There's something strange about the way she hugs me at the end of the night. Two bodies close together, but can I call this my body? If my body isn't me, who is me, and who is that body? And what contact can it possibly have with her or anyone? And this poem is called Blue. It was strange how blue the sky remained. I don't know what kept it the color of the afternoon, long after the sun had set. It reminded me of the sky on our last morning, when in the hour of night's end and day's beginning, we sat on the bridge under the sky, saturated with excess blue. I'm surrounded always by memory. Often I feel I'm on a train, in the busiest part of the day, claustrophobic in the crowd of memories pressed against me. I can't even lift my arms. I'm immobilized by memory. Anyway, I don't mean to say that it wasn't really dark when I took the bus home that evening. It was as dark as the deepest of night, but the darkness didn't descend from the sky. Night was something the trees possessed, not a reaction to movement around a distant star. The bus moving me slowly toward home was itself night, and I as well. It's impossible to separate real memories from memories of dreams or dreams. Were you ever a real physical man? It's impossible to imagine you so, now that you're less than a dream. On the bridge that morning, when you kissed me, it reminded me of death, as so much does these days. Though you swore it wasn't an ending, I knew it was. It was the only time I remember us being out together before dark. The sky was so blue it seemed unreal. And though you swore it wasn't an ending, I knew it was.
Thank you. Then Gab, then Julian, and Rick closing us out. And I appreciate the people who have really, been generous with their time. I appreciate that so much. All right, there we go.
This one, it's a note to myself. Dearest me, sophistry grows rampant, and I feel helpless. Can I do anything about what others do? I cannot. Materialism grows rampant, and I fall victim to it. Can I do something about it? I can choose to act in accordance with the philosophy of life I've chosen. Ignorance grows abundant, and I am frightened by it. I must fright not, and not be vexed. Vexation is a choice, and so is fright. They are banished with understanding through knowing thyself. My choices. They are the only things I have absolute dominion over. Externals are simply that. Externals. Therefore, choose to be in agreement with nature. Ideal moments are always found in the present. And damn Brady thing. I know not well the man I dare speak of, but every Wednesday this gent I see oft, with his reading glasses and clever jokes in tow. His wit, hit or miss, to thee he'll bestow. Silently he'll shake his head when time is up, but he's never rude, he's shrewd. He'll just scold you like a pup. That's a teacher in him, never mad, just disappointed, but he's always pleased when a co-pilot is appointed. So who to me is this fellow Dan Brady? A man with integrity, although sometimes seems crazy.
Thank you. Nailed it. All right. Oh, Dad, come on up. And there she is new, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's go. A newbie. Dooby-dooby-doo. Woo-hoo! Bah! You're stopping all the noise really short out there.
Reading ever out loud.
Really? Oh, come on, let's go. Give us some encouragement here. Is that Gab up there? Oh my God! That's Gab!
This one is called An Alternate Universe in Which I Do Not Think Catastrophically. The bubbling vulnerabilities in the overhead paint job remind me of Bob Ross's Happy Little Trees. The proximity of the kitchen above my warm basement bed does not faze me. I do not envision the hot oven falling through the ceiling, crushing my darling cats and I to death. Death is just another word, a factual notion, sure, but not a flame that engulfs my mind, no. When I take to the highway, windows down, I drive with ease. I notice wild dandelions before I notice roadkill, and the wet face of the kid who that flat cat belonged to doesn't cross my mind in mere seconds, overflowing the well that is my eyes. Me, I smile back at strangers in passing cars without seeing them through tears. In traffic, I ruminate on cloud formations and transcendence, never how close I am to someone on the brink who might decide to single-handedly crash their life into mine and end it. No, I do not carry the weight of the blind trust that blankets every moment behind the wheel. The mental health of the minds in the next lane doesn't consume mine with fear. When the 18-wheeler flies by, I don't notice the driver is distracted. I pay no mind to the spikes rearing out of each tire in my direction, and so here, I do not mentally and physically respond to tragic phone calls that have never taken place. I do not fear the walls strengthening their grip around my heart. No, I believe that I am safe. I do not cry for my pets in the event that I never make it home one day. I do not say that I could have a heart attack in 5 minutes, even though any of us really could. The mere thought of my first inhale on this earth without my parents doesn't cross my mind, nor send me plummeting to my knees. No one has ever accused me of jumping to hasty conclusions, but if they did, in this universe, I wouldn't associate the adjective with the Golden Gate Bridge. No, here I jump for joy. I do not think catastrophically, and my sweet ears have never heard the phrase, I don't get your anxiety.
And then Britt will be closing us out, ladies and gentlemen. You know, if you've had half as much fun as I've had, then you've had too much fun.
Right.
Oh, did you bring a guitar? My God.
I did today.
All right.
So in order for the theme, I made a little adjustment to this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm fearful now.
Yeah. It's called a birthday wishes.
Okay.
nothing ever happened. As if the last time I had heard those abrasive vocal cords, they weren't garroting me with goodbye. After months of not speaking, in an instant I start choking up, choking not to hold back the tears, but the pride I had so strenuously struggled to swallow that now finds itself clawing its way back out. So when she had the nerve to ask me what I wanted, all I could say was a new blender because the one I have no longer works, you see. It hasn't worked ever since I had decided to throw my heart inside it so I could pour it into a crystal glass and hand it to you. Ever so careful not to spill because I yearn for you. To drink every last drop of me like the cold, lifeless, seductively shallow and wretched Wendigo that you are, drink me. In hopes that as I descend down your esophagus and traverse through your throat, I will turbulently tumble towards my final resting place within the putrescent pit of stomach acid that I have the privilege, nay the pleasure to proclaim as my personal purgatory. Drink me. In hopes that as I delicately drip down your lips and carelessly cascade across your chest and carefully caress every crook and cranny and come crashing to a rest against such soft and silky breasts, then break the silence in my death when whispers break free from my breath that scream I am as near to your heart now as I am ever gonna be, because you never really thought of me as more than an accessory. It's just another bite to eat whenever it was time to feed your insatiable appetite. That's what I wanted to say, but honestly it was just a fantasy all in my head. You see, truthfully, in reality, all that I said was fucking nothing.
Second half, we're going to take care of these prizes, as I like to call them, because they're prizes. Gifts. Thank you. I could say gifts. Good.
Okay.
All right.
Just asking. Should we be ashamed of the spring purple in our backyard, the pride of Agamemnon? Should we give back the gold of acacia dust or mica and fence rocks? I don't think so. That composite photo of M87's black hole, the swallowing of stars, The click of telescopic cameras around the world touches us only lightly, amidst the quiet glory of most mornings. This is the last one. The roar, the supersonic rush of a black hole, a waterfall in Norway, the chill of distance, the spray out there is stars.
Thank you. Britt Peter! Beautiful! What did you say about that? There's no one? Oh, I don't, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and what was the thing about the 7 o'clock thing?
On the SF Arts page, where a lot of people follow to see all where to go, it says sign up 7, starts at 7:30. It's been saying that forever and ever and ever.
San Francisco Arts?
Arts.
Oh, okay, SF Art, yes. I'll have to, I gotta make sure that, I'm still gonna find that. All right, so we're gonna take care of these, I knew what you were saying. I don't know what I mean.
It's trying to be helpful.
I know, that's good, because I didn't know that they
Because
had
I
that.
kept going, and I was like, how could you already be 8 people down and start at 7:30?
Okay, yeah, so I'll have to, so I don't know where that is. All right, so let me introduce the door prizes to you. What's your poo telling you? A watch which you'll have to figure out how to use, because I can't figure out how to use it, so I'm giving it away. News from native California. American Archaeology, the treasures of Key Marco, not Largo, so don't get excited about that. Under Milkwood, Dylan Thomas, not Karen Silkwood, Marianne. And then Time Now, Volume 2 in a series by a friend of mine, Hadi Paul Reinhardt's, great poetic poems there. And then there are supposed to be 5 of these, and I can't find the other one, but there's the keynote, the mini feature, the prompt, the last word, and there's also supposed to be the co-pilot, right? And I don't know where that is.
Might be on the floor, but.
And the mini feature.
You could remember it.
Yeah, oh, they got the mini, the prompt, the keynote, the last word, but I don't have that on the card. Ich kann es nicht gefunden machen. Which means I don't know what I'm saying. But if you want to do that, then you just let me know and I'll find the card at some point in the dim future. Dim world. All right.
Okay, pick a card.
Oh, yes. Oh, did you shuffle?
I shuffled.
Okay. Number 3.
Buford Bunton.
Mr. Buford Bunton, kindly come forward. What is your pleasure? It's amazing I can't find out things anymore. Or as they say in my French class, was wollen Sie?
Here's your pleasure.
What would you like there? Each of these fine gifts.
You don't want to know. Maybe you did that.
Okay, all right. And then we have number 26.
Hal and Robin.
Hal Robin. The mighty Hal Robbins.
Gift, present, prize.
What to do?
What?
Geez, I don't know. How about the last word?
Okay, we have Hal Robbins as the last word. Thank you.
I can't guarantee I can get here early, apparently.
Well, but still, you can do this. That's good. All right. And then we have Light Saying, number 13.
Brit.
Britt Peter, is it? Britt Peter. Would you come forward there? Ah, there he goes. There we go. And number 7. That is you.
Yes, you.
Tommy knows his number.
What's left?
What's left?
A lot.
The right is left.
Oh, okay.
Mini feature. Oh, good. Tommy, here we go to make good. And then number 19.
Vincent.
Oh, he was just here.
19.
I think he just stepped out.
I'm right here.
Oh, Vincent. Oh, where is that guy? I was just here.
I just think back to the poem. I don't know if I'm going to be here next week, so.
So maybe
Oh, I would never even. Come on. What is that, anyways? Is it poems?
No, it's
No,
it's
no.
theoretically real
No,
stuff.
no, no,
You
that-
can give it to somebody that you don't
That'll
like.
cause me PTSD.
Okay, all right.
What is this?
It's poetry from a friend of mine. Long-term friend. Nice stuff, some of it, so you might like it.
Free poetry.
Okay. All right. Number Zeben und Swansig, 27.
Well, skip it because it's Brit.
Huh?
Skip it because it's Brit.
Oh, Britt, we already have him. Did we have, you have Britt?
Yeah, we just gave Brit
Oh,
a
oh.
present.
Okay. Oh, okay. 15.
She's away.
She's not here right now. Okay. 20.
Soul brother. Soul brother never
He's out here.
left.
30.